Hello there everybody and welcome to the Suarez live stream. It's really great to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Now, it's incredibly hot. I was going to say warm. No, it's sweltering. Very, very hot here at the studio at the moment. So we're actually recording this when it isn't quite as hot as we know it's going to be. So although we are coming at you live, it's live but almost live, if you know what I mean. So right now, I'm going to be sat at a computer somewhere on the chat, ready to go. So I hope you're going to get involved. But right now, we are going to run the intro. And we're back in the room. Right then, okay, we've got a lot of fun we're going to have on this session that we're doing today. Now, we know we've got the corner cam working A-OK, so let's have a quick look through the tech. Let's introduce you to the camera angles. Right, we know that that's working. Let's go PTZ. I'm going to assume my position, and then with a magic press of the button, ka-ching, here I am. Okay, so we've got our sliding cam working over there, which is fantastic. Now, if I take a quick scoot round to the other side of the canvas, as if by magic, yep, here we go. As if by magic, boom, there I am. How cool is that? All right, this is week 2 of our brand new cameras, so we're still getting used to them, but I think you're really going to enjoy these camera shots. Now, what's down here? Is this the canvas? Of course it is. That's the canvas. No, let's not look at that. Let's look at me again. Oh, there we go. Look, who loves pressing buttons? It's the man out in control. Aidy's pressing all the buttons and giving us this wonderful broadcast today. So let's give him a big shout out in the comments. That would be amazing. So that's camera number 3. And of course, we've got the 4th camera, which is Roam Cam, which is freshly fixed because I broke it last week. We've got a brand new tripod and a brand new mount. This is going to give us a much steadier shot. Let's go and have a little look, shall we? Now, if you've never seen one of our broadcasts before, you're in for a real treat. We believe this is the only 4-camera high-definition paint booth on the planet, so this is a very unique experience for you. We're trying to give you all the angles and all the action. Roam Cam has got to be one of my favourites. Oh my goodness, what's this? Last week, we were doing some pouring sessions. That went incredibly well. I may even pop a link to that in the corner of the screen. Obviously, when you finish watching this live session, you can go and have a look at that. I'll pop it in the description as well. But look, that's what nobody's seen yet. This is the underside of the aluminium that I painted it on. Oh my word. Let's go and have a look. How cool is that? I really, really would love to replicate that. I have no idea how. One day, you never know, we might just do something pretty cool like that. So you never know what you're going to get, do you? There we go, guys. It's very important you can watch us and follow us on all of the popular social media channels. You'll be able to see that in most of the shots that you'll see on the broadcast. We're also recording it for Instagram to do a time lapse. So I think now that we've established all the tech is good, let me explain to you what's going on and what we're about to do. Okay, brilliant. Well, as you can see behind me, we have got a blank piece of canvas on the floor. The measurements for this are 245 centimeters by 140, and that will have a finish size of 225 by 120, approximately 8 foot by 4 foot. Now, tonight, folks, what I'm going to do, if I come to the corner camera and show, actually, yeah, PTZ, yeah, let me show. This is quite unusual. I hope you're ready for this. You know the colours that we work in here, don't you? Well, unusually. Don't panic, I'm going to start off this evening by doing these 2 colours as a base. Now, I know, depending on what you're seeing on the camera, you might not instantly associate those with everything that we do here, because everything's really bright, but there is a reason for this, okay? So this is what I'm going to start with. It's going to be quite interesting. And so that we can do this and achieve this as efficiently as possible, we're bringing out my friend, the giant roller. You might see the glove hooked inside it, and that is no special reason. It just stops this from falling off. However, It's not perfect, so anticipate this falling off in the middle of the painting at some random point in time. And as you can see from the pole, it's an extremely well-used tool. It's been with us for many years. So I think without further ado, let's get the base coat on, see where it takes us. Okay, I am going to go right the way around the edge to begin with, buddy. So if you're okay with that shot, I'm going to walk around now and then get some paint on. So I'll just check with AD that he's got the shot. He's just going to bring it over you. Yeah, and it's going to stop any second. Stop it now. There we go, stopped. Right, okay, so if everybody's ready, let's get the first drop of paint on. We're going to go round the outside with this, quickly as we can. Now, I know what this looks like on the camera. Sorry, in real life, on the camera, in real life. But it'd be very interesting to see what this looks like on the screen that you're watching it on. Andy's telling me it looks like a very rusty brown. Yeah, and there is a kind of a rusty tinge to it, isn't it? It's a bit autumny, even though we are in the height of summer here. Very, very warm. That's why we have to be very sensible and kind to ourselves. And we know that in the remainder of the week, it's going to get enormously hot and very difficult to work here. So we have to be sensible, folks. We have to keep ourselves safe. So we are taking the opportunity just a little bit before our normal broadcast would go live on the Wednesday to just get one in the bag, so to speak, because the last thing we want to do is to have to cancel anything. That would be really bad, wouldn't it? Nobody wants to do that. Let's just start the time lapse off. So at least this way we're able to bring you our normal live stream, which of course is unedited, and as we are shooting this, we are absolutely live. There's no room for mistakes, and if we make them, you're not going to know anyway. I'm just going to blag my way out of it. So here we go, and again, a bit of an unusual start. I haven't used the roller, I think, for quite some time, but we're just going to quickly work our way around. It's a great method, is this? Just everything goes on really quickly. It also has another benefit, if I'm honest, and that benefit is that it dries very quickly. So let me explain why. There is another reason I'm doing this, and that's because although you're going to see very little of this probably by the time I've finished, the important thing is that it dries quickly. What I don't want to do is have white canvas exposed on the back. And again, there are reasons for that. I'm sure if I can remember, I'll tell you that as we go on. But we're just moving it around. I can even see it drying as we speak. Now this has got a little drop of thinners in it, and that's just to help it travel into all the nooks and crannies I need it to go into. Look, it's literally taken us minutes, hasn't it? I should have been an interior decorator. I could have whizzed through a house in a day. There you go. There's my second career if ever I need one. Eh? Imagine doing this on everybody's walls. Everything would look amazing, wouldn't it? Anyway, right, there we go. We've got that nice and evenly distributed around. You can imagine that burnt look probably looks quite interesting on whatever screen type you're currently watching on. There we go. So we've just got everything covered. And now, hopefully, I'm going to talk to you about the theme behind this broadcast, because it does have one. And as always, there are reasons why everything is being done as it is. So relax, put your feet up, and this wonderful sort of caramelly burnt umber is about to get covered up in quite the most incredible way. So that's it, look, as simple as that. That's our base coat done. I quite like doing base coats on air with you guys, I really do. It's very, very cathartic and very therapeutic. So I don't mind that at all. We're going to take the pole and pop it back. We may resort to using that again, so I'm just going to park that for now. There we go. It's a really nice colour, actually. That you're on corner cam, did you say, buddy? Yeah. Let's just show you that, guys. Right. Actually, it is a really rich kind of yeah, I think like a burnt sienna colour. It's got undertones of orange in it, of course, a little drop of black. There's the very tiniest hint of a burgundy in there as well, just to give it a little bit of warmth. But I don't know if you've ever seen something called Core 10 steel, very popular with the Grand Designs brigades around the world. Core 10 steel is fantastic stuff. That's what that reminds me of, which is quite interesting. Okay, folks, right, the next thing I'm going to do when AD gives me the okay is we're going to nip onto Roam Cam. Well, actually, no, I tell you what, buddy, stay on the overhead if you don't mind, and then I'll walk behind it and come to me on the bench if you can zoom around, and I'll explain the colours that we're going to use for everything. Ah, hello. He's good, isn't he? I didn't even get round here and he was here already. Brilliant. Okay, folks, right, so down on the bench, let me tell you what's going on. So we've got a range of 4 colours that we are provisionally using. So we're going to start with a blue. It's a stock colour blue, quite a deep one, which is a really nice one. It's got a RAL number 5022 for the text amongst you. We're then going to go completely mental with a metallic silver. That's going to look really, really cool. It's a lovely, lovely colour. There you go. In fact, I'm going to do that so you can see the colours there. Look. Then we are going to go in with a lovely red. And this is called Traffic Red, again a stock colour. And then this really nice new yellow that I've got. It's quite vibrant, this. It's not quite at the canary end of the spectrum, but it's got hints of melon, a little bit of sunshine in there. That's a really strong, warm yellow, instead of being something really quite cold like a strong lemon. And then we might just do a couple of hints of this really nice burgundy at the end, and this is quite crucial. I've added a few drops of this into the burnt umber, rusty, steely colour that we've got down on the canvas that we've just done. So if we're lucky, we can pop a few drops of this on at the end, and it should, fingers crossed, tie everything together. So it's all got purpose. These are the layers. We're going to be building the layers up, okay? And the theme, what are we doing tonight? Well, the last few weeks we've done all the pour paintings and we've done barrels and all that kind of thing. So today I'm getting busy with, oh yeah, one of my favourite tools. We're going to get the wooden spoons out. Oh yeah, we're going to get drip-tastic. We're going to get all Pollock-esque. That's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to get in there. We're going to get completely funky and mad, and we're going to have some fun. And we're going to start off with the blue. So I'll let my colleague establish the shot. I'm going to take my position, and let's get some paint on some canvas. Right, okay, so our first applications. These need to be quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Quite liberal. So I'm going to work reasonably quickly down on the canvas, and I'm going to be using quite an aggressive arm movement to get the paint splattered and actually distributed fairly evenly. I don't need this in giant thick swathes, but I do need plenty of it, but I need it to be quite thin rather than stringy and thick, if that makes sense. So I'm practiced with a particular way of moving the arm, which distributes the paint quite severely and quite explosively outwards. So let's start with that and work our way around and see what happens. Shall we do it, buddy? Shall we do it?
Do it! Just do it! Yesterday you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true! Nothing is impossible! No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can!
Right, quite physical this. It's a lot of movement. It's hot. It's 40 plus degrees in here. Edie's got it bad. He's about 45 degrees. Oh, you can only imagine what it's going to be the rest of the week, can't you? So we're playing with a different colour palette now we normally use. This is all about boundaries, pushing. What can we do? What are we capable of? Come on. Let the paint just speak. Let it be free. Of course there's a rhythm. Of course there's a plan. But I want this to start taking some life on. Come on. That's what we want. Let's get in with the action. Yeah, embrace it. There we go. Try not to slip over at the same time, because I'm sure that would look great on some fails channel on YouTube. But hey, it doesn't help me paint. Okay, right. Let's have a look at the distribution. So not too bad as we switch cameras. I'm going to plug a few holes. So I'm going to plug up on the kind of top left as you're looking at it, where I'm waving my foot. So we're going to get some in there, and a few little more bits and pieces in the center. I do need to leave quite an open space ready for the silver, because we're going to use a slightly different application method for the silver. And we're probably going to be building some of this up as we go along, so I don't mind getting the odd little swizzle and chisel in here. There we go. We'll come around this side. Okay, lovely. Now, here's what I do have. I've got one or two high spots. So I'm just going to mash the spoon in. Love this little technique. Let me go where the camera is. So can you see the spoon there, buddy? Okay, so I'm going to start mashing some of these in just a little bit. There you go. Move it around. It doesn't matter. Just distribute this out a little bit. A lot of this is going to get covered up, but it's important that I just mash out just one or two of these high points. I can just see where the paint's accumulated. Maybe I've got a few drops too many here and there. No, it doesn't really matter. There we go. I love this bit. Yeah, smack it down. I'm going to get covered, aren't I? It's making a great noise. Yeah, this one especially over on this, on your right side, buddy. Okay. That's it. Look, as much fun as you can have with a paint can. Smack down. Maybe that's the title. Pollock Smackdown. Lovely. Now you'll remember these as the as the painting starts to take shape. I'm not sure if this is a technique that Pollock would ever have used. Who on earth knows, unless that's been captured on film. But what's interesting now, I'll tell you what, actually. Check this out. So I don't know if Adie's can get this, maybe. Up here towards the top, buddy, in the center. So where I've got this, so roughly here, I've got, look where I've smacked it. Can you see what's happening? We've got a few little explosive points coming out. So what this is doing on these little fronds, it's forcing the paint outwards. Does two positive things. Makes that look really cool, especially if I smack it again, which I'm going to. And it also reduces the volume of paint in the middle. And of course, that's what I'm trying to do. So let's give it a couple of smacks. Yeah, look at them go. You see my tendrils then? I've got more of them. You know, we can do that all over the place. Love that. Thanks, mate. That should look good. Right, so while Adie comes back out, I'm going to smack a few of the others. And that's nice. We get these little kind of almost spider webby, like delicate fronds coming out. And it's one of the things, you know, that I'm very passionate about when certainly we're doing this kind of real action kind of drip style painting, is to really embrace some of these nuances, you know, the famous drip painters, and of course what I mean by that, Jackson Pollock, the most famous of all. Some of these nuances that actually exist in his original works. And I'm not, this is for fun, this is because I enjoy it, that I'm really into understanding how these things work, the mechanics of it. How exactly were some of these effects achieved? And I find that fascinating. We both do from a creative and technical standpoint. I think those two things kind of fuse themselves together. Right, so that's good. So instantly, just with a little bit of, I say careful smacking, look how we've opened up some of these spaces. It's really quite interesting. So while we've got lots of spaces defined, we've also then started to encroach on some of the spaces that don't have paint on them. And I think that's really cool. And you can get that, folks, if you want to have a go, by smacking it with the back of a spoon. How awesome is that? Okay, right, finished. I'm only joking. Right, let's do a glove change. Pretty much covered in small spots of paint now, which is nice. But now you can see how we begin to hopefully build up the layers. All right, so we've got 2 layers on already. The next one we're going to go with is a silver one. Remember, if you are new here, please guys, please do ask questions. Even though I'm not talking on the chat, because we're pre-recording this, I am sat in the chair, in home office, probably. And I am trying to answer as many of your questions as possible. So I'm eagerly keeping my eye on that column where you're all writing your fantastic comments and your feedback. So please, if you do have something you want to ask, I'll do my absolute best answer those questions for you. That would be awesome. Also, if you're enjoying this, which I'm sure you are, please do give us a thumbs up, guys. That would be awesome. It tells the YouTube algorithms that you're engaged and having fun with this. And of course you are. Who else is doing this? So it might encourage more people to drop by and watch us as well. Now, if you're not sure where that button is and what to do, Adie's just going to show you that on the screen now. So, if you want to give it a thumbs up, and if you like this, there you go. Press it there. See? It's easy as that. And don't forget, guys, if you're not already subscribed, then we also want your notifications to get your notifications on as well. Okay, so we're now going to show you how to turn that on as well, because we don't want you to miss anything, of course. There you go. That's your notification on. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Right, now we've got that done. Let's get some new gloves on. And let's get the silver on. Right, okay, let's choose the next tool. So where's my there we go. So what we've got here is quite a big spatula, so this allows us to get a bigger volume of paint on. Now we're doing pretty well so far with the blue, but spatula is next. So clean tool, fresh paint. I'm probably going to use all the silver that's in here, and we're really going to go quite mad on this now. So if you're ready, folks, I think let's just go for it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to try it from a slightly higher point, and I want to try and fill some of the gaps that lie behind. I'm going to get a lot of this on. All right, so this is about what I want to try and do now is start an infill. Some of these areas don't have a lot of paint in. That's a good one. That's the kind of thing we want here. Look, let's get that out. And the spatula has different characteristics to using spoons. Hopefully you'll see that with the combination of using a slightly thicker paint, yeah, there we go, and the back of the spatula, which is shaped differently, of course we get a little bit of a different effect. And that's the point of it, really, isn't it? You know, we're trying to mix things up a little bit here, and even just the simplest of things like a tool change can really make quite a big difference. And because I'm trying to achieve different things with this and the layering, it leads me to have to change things like the tools. So hopefully that will give you some insight into understand that it's not all just about, oh, anybody could do that. Well, anyone can open a tin of paint and anyone can get a wooden spoon, but there's a difference between that and actually understanding what it is, A, you're trying to achieve, and B, how to achieve it. Okay. Now, I appreciate that might look white on the camera to you guys, but I can assure you that is silver. Is most definitely silver. Right, okay, I've got silver hands, so I look a little bit like an android. But so far, really happy with that. Now, who would like to have a little look on the close-up? Shall we show everybody what it looks like, buddy? If we go on to Roam Cam, let's have a look where we're at so far. Okay, so we're on layer number 3, and gradually building it up. Now, the nice thing about the silver I'm using, because it's a lot thicker, because it contains a metallic powder, this is going to hold its shape. So there's a reason why I wanted this as layer number 2, my infill layer. Okay, and the reasons are this: one, I didn't want it being the one underneath because it's going to get covered up and you're never going to see it. But two, this is the filler. This is the bit that is really going to kind of define the blue, if you like. So that's why that is layer number 2, because we're about to go on with layer number 3. Some beautiful neural networking kind of things going on there. You see how different the lines are with the spatula that we've just used when you compare that to the spoon, which is how the blue was done. So everything is very subtle with this, but it does make a difference. If you care to think about the thought that goes into these things, it's amazing what you can do. And you can use a simple technique and really kind of morph it and maneuver it into things that you want to see done with it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So I'm really, really happy. That's the first two on. I'm liking that. Okay, and again, you know, it'd be interesting to hear what you think about my unusual color choices on this particular one. Let's get a fresh set of gloves on. Oh, guys, this is going well. This is good. I'll just clean my hands off just a second. Right, so guys, if you are enjoying this, please do remember to give us a subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, then you can click on the big red button. You'll find it somewhere. Just scroll down and you'll see it. And of course, as we've done already, remember to click on your bell icon because then you'll get notified about when we're popping up and doing live streams. Who knows? We're doing weird and wonderful things all the time. And of course, we want you to be a part of that. Right, brilliant. Right, next set of gloves. And I think next we're going to go in with the red. Now, this is where we start to add the colour into it. So I'm going to have a quick walk around here and assess, if I can, where I'm going to go in with the reds and what that's going to look like. So this is my, okay, I'm just going to have a quick think about it, kind of tour around where I'm going to start with my reds. Now, I don't think there's going to be too much of the red going on here, but I think now I need to start and be quite careful. I don't want to overload the red. And the important thing here is that I can actually start to make this a little bit more fine, you know, have a little bit of finesse. We've gone quite brutal so far with these couple of colours. So now I want to start and bring in these really sort of beautiful nuances. So that's the next challenge. I am going to be using 2 or maybe even 3 tools for the red because there are different kinds of effects that I need to go for. So we're going to start off with a much smaller spatula, and this one doesn't have a concave to it. Can I show you that? Yeah, I think I can. Which camera are we on, buddy? Okay, so we've got, I don't know if you can see, so the silver that we've just used has got a slight dish to it. So in actual fact, what we're doing is we can load this almost. We can actually stick a lot of paint on. And with it having that concave, of course, we can hold a bigger volume of paint, but we also get a slightly bigger surface area underneath as it falls down, so I can get a secondary application, or splat, call it what you will. However, the smaller one, not only is it a much smaller, so carries less volume of paint, there's no concave, so we're not holding the volume, and that's great for what we're about to do, because I don't want volume of red. What I want is to be able to control it a little bit better, not go so brutal and forceful with it, but actually make it a little bit calmer, should I say? Calm, yeah, okay. So that's the technique. That's the principle on using the smaller tool. I might also, whilst we're there, buddy, is bring out the bullet brush. Now, these historically have uses in all kinds of painting for all kinds of reasons. Maybe not with what I'm going to do with it. So I'm not sure. We'll see how we get on with the spatula first. We might introduce the bullet tip brush as well, because again, it gives me a different kind of application method, and quite an interesting one. So we might cue that up next, but we're going to start with the even-sided, non-concave, much smaller spatula. So let's get the red out and let's have a go with that. Okay, right. Now the red is quite loose. What am I saying? It's thinner. It's generally, as it is, it's got a much looser, finer pigment in it. So it tends to be quite a loose, so it is thinner. So I have to be quite careful that I don't load things up too much. And I'm just going to start off. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me just modify that slightly. Let's get that into a cup. Not because it's really going to change things, but I'm worried about holding this in one hand and dropping it. If I drop it, I'm in huge trouble. Okay, that's better. That's better. Right. So we're going to go down. Let's go down reasonably close. Let's see how I can actually affect that. Yeah, that's not too bad. I've got a lot more control over it this time. That's better. Right. So while Amy gets in on that. Now I want some a lot gentler now on some of the lines. So That's better. That's better. I need this to actually feel where this is going rather than just hope and pray. Okay, that's better. Let's get a few rising ones. That's nice. Hopefully these are going to hold their shape as well a little bit. Be good to do. Okay, let's move center out. That's pretty good. Now I'm looking for an evenness of distribution here, so and you guys on the overhead have always got a unique perspective on it, probably more so than I have. So I always see it as a slight angle because of where I'm positioned to it. And that's fine. Maybe we'll talk me through if we've got any gaps or anything looks a little bit uneven. Okay. Okay, yeah, reasonably happy with that distribution. Right, so I think that's enough with the spatula. So I think we'll go in with the bullet tip, definitely, and we'll drop. So we're going to do some droplets here now. And now let's go over here. So you can see my boot there, can you, buddy? Right, let's drop some there then. Right, we should just see those starting to appear. We'll work our way around the base of it here. So another technique, another great way of being able to hopefully control paint fairly well. I'm just going to drop this again in a fairly linear way all the way around. A lot of these are going to kind of delineate as we move around, as the paint starts to settle itself down. There we go, back on overhead. Let's get down a bit. Now these will form some small drops, they'll also form large ones, which is great. And that's, I think, all we want at this stage. Yeah, nice. Maybe starting to add a little bit of life to it. The centre might still need a little bit of work on, but don't forget we've got the other colours we can come back to. Now this kind of thing and this technique is all about the layering. This is important that we layer things. You know, one of the successful features of really good drip art is the fact that you can almost see through it and you can almost step into it, you know, almost like, you know, you're going into a woodland and you have to, you know, scoop the trees and bushes out of the way and just kind of climb your way through to what lies beyond. And that's the kind of principle that I want to bring out in this, that they must have that kind of depth. And it can be quite a difficult thing to achieve, especially when you're working on a two-dimensional object or like a piece of canvas. But hopefully, as you'll see now, especially when we get the yellow one, which is coming up now, this is what's going to happen. We're now going to bring some brightness into it. We're now going to start and open up some of those colours. And of course, like with anything that's dark followed by light, you need one to see the other. Light and dark, they go hand in hand, and it's no different with light and dark colours. If everything is light and ephemeral and bouncy and beautiful, how do you ever really appreciate that if there's nothing contrasting to view it against? So that's the principle of the yellow now. We're going to lift the tone of it, and we're also going to add some of that crucial lightness to it, and that's going to help bring that dimensional, almost expanded, exploded feeling from it, where you can almost start with the yellow and work your way through into the background. Okay, well, that's the principle. Let's pop the yellow on. Let's see how we get on. Now, crucially, I need to pick my tool of choice. Now, the tool of choice of this one, I'm tempted to go back again with spatula because that's actually doing us really well. But actually, what I think I need, let's see if I can find one. Yes, just a smaller brush. Now, here's what's interesting. You must think, brush? Ed, what on earth are you going to do with a brush? Well, I'm going to load this. And I think if we can, are we on PTZ, are we, buddy? Yeah, so if Eddie can get a shot over on the nice shot of this on the bench, let me show you what I mean by paintbrush loading. Lots of different subtle things we're loading tonight, aren't we? The loading simply is that I just need to get plenty on it so that it's pouring off. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to use all of that. It's the finish that I want. I want this kind of very bright, sort of punchy finish, but I don't want it spread everywhere like all the rest of them, yeah? So we're going to get right down on the canvas now. I'm going to start at the bottom edge, so the camera on is perfect. I'm going to start down here. We might even have to be hands and knees, folks. All right, but might have to be one knee. There we go. Look, I'm doing my exercises for the day. And I think then, yeah, let's see how we get on. So we're gonna load up. We're gonna load up and see how we get on. See if I can plug some of these gaps. I want to try and scoot around some of the red if I can, and open this up. So let's see what happens. Eh? You okay with the shot there, buddy? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so far so good. Now then, I think we'll have a big wave. Yeah, we'll stay on that camera. We'll have a big wave going up and down. So let's see if I can get that from here. That's better. That's nice. And then we'll have curl, little curl there. Beautiful. Yeah, that's nice. Don't want to put too much on. Right, I'll come around the other side now, buddy. So we're switching camera positions. Let's do this again. That's good. I got a nice view of that now. That's good. So we're not throwing the brush. We're loading it, and then I'm able to control to a much better degree where that's going to go, which is pleasingly no end. And I think for this layer, it's probably all we need. Let me take a step up. Let's have a look. Have I opened the space up a little bit? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's much better. Now I can see somewhere where I'm a little bit light on it, but I'm not too worried about that. And it's just this down here. So, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pull up a little drop in there. There we go. Let's just close that up a little bit. Okay, fantastic. Right, glove change again. Oh boy, this is crazy, isn't it? I get through a lot of gloves. Oh dear. I love this technique actually, folks. I really do. I mean, you can really have a huge amount of fun with this. And almost, you know, when you look at the principle of it, you could do this time and time and time again, and it's always going to be different. That is the beautiful thing about it. No 2 days and no 2 sessions are ever going to be the same. And I love that. Absolutely love that. Right, but we're not done yet. Oh my goodness me, no. In fact, this does remind me very much of a couple of paintings that, well, I've done recently, but interesting ones that we've got for sale as prints. In fact, if I ask Aidan, would you like to see those? I think so, yeah. But I know it's not the same colours, but it reminds me a bit of one called April Sky. It's quite a signature piece that we did on April Sky. So we just want to show you that, because I mean that actually is available as a print. In fact, I think we've got 4 or 5 out. Those are the current editions on this month. Obviously, when they're gone, they're gone. I think there's only a few left of each. But we do have these incredible prints, and April Sky is one of my all-time favourites. I'm sure Aidan's showing you that right now on the screen. It looks pretty amazing, and although it isn't a drip technique, it's got a lot of those hints about how we build up layers going on in it, and it just as I sat here, it just reminded me of it, which I think is awesome. And of course, you know, they make a fantastic gift for someone. I'm sure that would look awesome on your wall. They're only £249. They're limited edition. They're one of 5 only. When they're gone, they're gone. They'll never be replicated. They're printed on this beautiful acrylic board, which shines, and it's just ready to hang. They're just incredible. I mean, here in the UK, the shipping's free, and it's just a flat rate across the rest of the world. I think you should treat yourself. I really think you should treat yourself to that, don't you, buddy? I reckon everybody should treat themselves to one of those. But seriously, folks, go have a look at the prints. They are amazing. They are so limited. I mean, literally, that's it. When they've gone, when the month ends, that's it. That's it forever. Never ever to be repeated. Right, great. I'll pop a link to those, by the way, also in the messages, so you can go and have a look at those as and when. Now, in that couple of minutes, look what's happening. We've got a little bit of movement on the yellow, but suddenly now we're redefining these spaces. And you might think, okay, great, fantastic, Ed. So what now? What now? You've used the 4 colours. Well, we're going to go back in with the blue, but shock horror. Dun, dun, dun. We are not going to be using the same technique. No. Oh, no, no, no. I'm going to be using a much different one. Now we're going even more specialized with the spatula. Here it is. I'm going to put some very tiny feathery lines. I'm going to filter this in and around the yellow. So now we're starting to build those layers up. This is what it's all about, folks. We're coming to that climactic point now where we've built all those layers into something looking incredible and wonderful. Now, of course, this has a different effect to leaving it. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Now, if I was going to be completely true to the way Mr. Pollock would have worked, especially in some of his most famous works, I'd be leaving time in between each layer so that it had a chance to dry and to form and to stop moving. But of course, we couldn't do that, otherwise the live stream would be about 5 weeks long. So for the purposes of being able to, well, A, have some fun, and also B, really try and give you a more in-depth feeling and knowledge for how we think the drip painting style would have been conceived, operated and run during the 40s and 50s with some of these most iconic works. It's all about an education. And that's what we want to do. We just want to try and educate and try and demystify some of the things that you may have as a preconception about this style of painting. Okay, happy days. So next, I think I would like to get a little drop more of the silver. I haven't got a huge amount left. In fact, when I say I haven't got a lot, what I mean is I haven't got any. That's fine. Not worried about that. We'll scoop up the little drop I've got left. And again, instead of using it as a sort of smackdown thing, we're just going to drop these few little drops here and there. Let's use up what we got out of the tin. These will find their own level. Maybe some nuances here and there. Beautiful. Now, I could be tempted one day, I suppose we'd have to build another pod for this, is to have a couple of long-term ones of these going on. That would be really quite good, wouldn't it? We could have a look at that between us each week. You know, where we are sort of leaving a week to 2 weeks in between these individual layers, giving them proper time to cure, that kind of thing. That would be very exciting. So I think we might have to do that. I think you'll have to let me know in the comments if you want me to go ahead and do that kind of thing at a point in time. That could be really nice, actually. I'd really like the opportunity to do that. But we do need some more space to make more investment in doing that. But there is something extremely liberating about doing this kind of thing on these scales. You know, kind of, you know, getting towards the size that Pollock would have used. You know, so we're just doing this, you know, really because we can and because we want to. We hope you're enjoying this so far today. Again, hopefully we're answering all your comments for you. And if you've got questions, or if you've just joined us, please do get involved. Please do ask them, because we'd love to hear from you. Right, so I think still yellow is looking pretty good. Don't think we need any more of that at the moment. It's looking nice. I'm tempted to leave it, but you know what I'm like. I can never stop, can I? So we're just going to go for a little drop more yellow, just 1 or 2 over the top. And then we'll just pop these in. And then let's maybe go for this corner here. Yeah, okay. It's working. Now let's have a look at my proportions of red against everything else. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Right, so the last thing I want to do, well, I'll say the last, I'm not sure, it could go on yet. But now remember, for those of you who've been watching since the start, well done you, but I did mention about this burgundy. Now I have popped a little drop of this into the base coat, which we put on earlier. And I just want to feature a few little drops of this here and there, because although it's very, very subtle, these are the little nuances that you're really going to have to sort of get your nose into to spot and to spy. They're kind of like the Where's Wally of the paint application world, if you know what I'm talking about. So we're just going to pop a few little soups onto these in. Let's reuse the bullet tip brush, because the red's on the same colour spectrum, so it doesn't matter if there's a little drop of red involved as well. And I'm going to be very careful now where I put these, and I mean very, very careful. might feel that it's going to get haphazard, but it isn't. So let's pop these in. But yeah, the opportunity of doing one of these where you can leave it a couple of weeks between coats is a thing that's always in our minds, and I'm sure we'll do at some point. I just don't know when, because everything is all so busy all the time. We commit such a lot of time to the streams and to everything else, and pushing back our own boundaries, and we do run a business, and of course our clients are right in the center of all of that. But equally, because we put a lot of time to the streams, you guys are as well. Let's not, I'm going to turn my side, buddy. Yeah. Let's not beat about the bush here, guys. You're our family. You're important, so important to us, which is why we push through all of the problems and all of the issues that we have to do this every week. And we appreciate you, just like I know you appreciate what we do as well. And we've got to celebrate the fact that we can do these different things. We can bring this to you each week. We've got the ability to do it. We've got the desire to do it. And I'm very grateful for that. I thank myself each time that we can do this kind of thing. I'd never dreamed of this 10, 12 years ago. And here we are, look at us. Really at that cutting edge. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Right, okay, let's take ourselves a quick breather in that. My one other question to myself is whether I need to stick a few little segments of white in there. So I'm going to chat to my colleague, and purely with nothing else in mind than what we're actually looking at the moment, but with the way that you can see it on the cameras, speak to me. Let's see if I can have a look from over here. Okay, right, well I think, yeah, so difficult, isn't it? So difficult. Oh, I bet you're all in the comments now telling me what I should do. Please do. I actively encourage it. I love to get your participation in this. So I just got to make that call now as to whether I carry on or whether I stop. Here's the problem: if I start to add any more colour to it, there's every possibility now that I'm going to lose some of the structure as things start to mingle in with each other, and of course I don't really want to do that. If I was doing this where I had a couple of weeks in between layers, of course that would never be an issue, but don't have that luxury at the moment. So in terms of building things up and doing where we're at, my one critique would be that it might just need the paintbrush blue technique. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a brush, and as we did earlier with the yellow, I'm going to do it with the blue because I need to get some much finer lines going. So I think that's something I'm going to do as soon as I can find a suitable brush to do it with. Now, because we're pre-recording this, hopefully everyone's agreeing with me. You might not. You might be saying, no, Ed, leave it alone. What are you doing, man? So I'm going to go for broke, and I'm going to actually use the brush with the yellow in it, because that's me. I definitely don't want any more yellow. So I'm going to use this RAL 5022. Let's get it loaded. I need to get a little much more of a fine sort of line. So we're going to do a similar thing that we did with the yellow. I'm going to try and work this into some of the silver, because I'd like to cover up. That's cover up some of that burnt sienna colour from underneath. That's better. And this is going to be very subtle, isn't it? I mean, it's just going to fill a few bits here and there, but I think we definitely need to calm. Adie's right. He's telling me in my ear, the silver is quite dominating. So let's, even though it's an incredible colour, let's just see if we can tone that down a bit. I think this is going to really, really help. And it's going to take your eye probably off those huge swathes of silver. Not that that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm really happy with that. But if we're in that pursuit of balance in chaos, or chaos controlled, then it could very well mean that the silver has to just marginally get toned down a bit. I think we're actually achieving that here, guys. I really do. That's a whole lot better. That's a whole lot better. Just, you know, if you were to look at the start when the silver went on and now, I think you'll agree that that slight sort of delineating is exactly what it needed. Let's just have a look through the middle. Make sure we get it, because of course it's where your eye's going to go first. It normally does as you look at the center of it. Yeah, that's better. I think I can definitely live with that. And again, we've used lots of different techniques here with very similar tools, admittedly. But in terms of, we're dipping, aren't we? We're dipping and we're loading a brush. We've used 2 or 3 different sizes of spatulas. You definitely see 3 on the table. Out of what is really just a 4-colour painting with quite an unusual base colour. And here we are, we're paying an homage to the great Pollock. We are drip painting in the style of, you know, it's very close to how he would have done this, minus all the gaps in between of time and drying. Okay, but actually this is how things would have worked back in the 40s and 50s, of course, when he was at his peak. And I am absolutely loving that. I am loving that. Now, what would be really interesting on chat is if anybody, and I'll say this, which one are we on, buddy? Tell me. All cameras, okay. I'll come back to overhead, dude, and you can give me the overhead shot, and if you pan up to me, that would be awesome. Boom. Now, I had a really good look at this on the cameras and seen it being done. I wonder if any of you, in the comments now, know what this might kind of look like. I'm referring to a particular painting of which this loosely is in the style of. Okay, so I'll give you a clue. It is a Pollock based work, but I wonder if any of you are that familiar with his paintings that you could name that straight off the bat. So that's an interesting one. There's a real geek question for any of you that want to join in with that conversation. Now, of course, we have got a lot of negative space around the edges. Well, let me show you. Look. So we've got this here. Now remember, a lot of this is going to go around the frame. So we've got at least 10 centimeters around the whole perimeter of this, which is going to be lost because that goes around the frame and is then stapled on the reverse. I think you guys probably know how that works. You know, if you're looking at it side on, there's the top of the frame. It comes over the top and down the back. That's why we need the 10 centimeters and we staple on the back. So a lot of that burnt sienna kind of umber color is going to disappear. So in actual fact, what you're then left with is quite a small actual representation of that around the edge. You know, if you imagine this silver up at the top, that's kind of going to be right on the edge. So imagine then that most of that border is going to disappear, and that's what you get in the center. Now, Ada's going to try and almost just get that kind of out of shot where you can see what that would look like, I guess, as a finished piece. Yeah, I think that's what you mean, isn't it, buddy? You're going to try and do as if the finished piece. Yeah, so hopefully reasonably well on the screen right now is about what you would see as a finished piece. Okay, now normally, of course, if this was going to be something that was replicated, it's going to take an awful lot longer, probably about 4 to 5 months, which is how long the layering process tends to take with these curing and drying times in between. But for now, what we've done, we've had a little bit of fun, haven't we? Recreating something that is definitely very much Pollock-esque there in its nature. Shall I take my gloves off and shall we go and have a look at some close-ups? I think we should, buddy. I think we should. Right. Let's have a look on Roadcam. Let's go to the bottom edge first. And let's have a look at some of the things that are starting to happen. Now, they are reacting naturally in a similar way to the way the paints do anyway, but actually you can see, particularly, I'm very pleased to say, those blue kind of, there you can see there, kind of those networks are really starting to hold their shape. Now, you know, if we'd got endless amounts of time, I would have walked away when the blue had gone down for a couple of hours and then maybe come back. But in actual fact, what this has done is now taken it on its own personality. We've got lots of different elements going on, but we've also got everything that's uniquely identifiable as our own as well, which I think is great. You know, this is not supposed to be copy. We're paying homage to, we're celebrating the style of one of Pollock's iconic works. Well done if you guessed correctly. But what we're also getting is a 21st century cutting-edge materialed celebration, really, of everything that this particular painting was and still is. And let's just give ourselves a moment just to have a look at that. So, just thinking, literally off the top of my head while we're having a look at this, let's go around to the top edge. Let's just say, and again, this has just occurred to me, if we were to do a proper time-lapse of a Pollock, and I mean from start to finish, yeah, with all of the layers and all of that going on across all of the sort of days and weeks and months or however long it takes to create, what do you think, guys? Let us know in the comments. Should we commit to doing a proper, full-on, complete, authentic, Pollock-esque, inspired by painting that uses all of those amazing techniques of his and really stays completely true and authentic to how he would have created? What do you think, guys? Should we do one and commit as a completely separate project? Would you like to see that as a time-lapse? Do let us know in the comments. We would love to know what you think. Okay, well, that is your look on Roam Cam. Amazing to think how much detail and what we can get out of just those few colours and a very unusual background. How well they show off each of their tones with each other. I think that's incredible and looks extraordinary. I'm very happy with that. Something completely different to what we've done before. We never ever really tackle anything like this. Normally it's got a black or a white base coat and off we go with all the colours of the rainbow. So again, we've done something different tonight, folks. So I'm really chuffed with that. Very interesting to see how that dries. And I would love to hear again what you think. Should we do a proper, full-on homage to Pollock, replicating all those techniques over the course of however many weeks and months it takes? Please do let us know in the comments. If you're up for that, we'll do it and we'll commit to it, and we'll do it as a proper time-lapse for you. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. That is our fun Pollock-inspired painting for this evening with some unusual colours. I hope you found that the techniques that I've explained has helped demystify what we think are some of the potential ways that he may have created his paintings. And if not, that's certainly the ways that we've interpreted it and some of the techniques that we use to create some of those different effects to be able to pay some kind of respect to the great man. Right, there we go, guys. How about that? I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do give us a giant thumbs up, because that would be fantastic. We'd really appreciate that, wouldn't we, buddy? Of course we would. Right, okay, fantastic. I love it. Thumbs. That's amazing. Please, guys, please do like, share and subscribe with your friends, because I'm sure somebody somewhere would like a bit of a breath of fresh air from seeing lolcats and other things like that, and music videos. Look, I just don't think you can get better entertainment on the internet than what you just witnessed. Anyway, guys, that's it for this particular live stream. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, guess what? We're going to be live again next Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll actually be doing it live, because we're hoping that the weather will calm itself down and it'll be a little bit cooler. But it just goes without saying that we'd like to thank you very much for watching this particular stream. We do hope you've enjoyed that. Please do let us know in the comments if you've got any further questions, especially if you are watching this on replay. Do get involved. Just because the chat has gone doesn't mean to say that you can't get involved. I do look and answer at every single comment that's left on all of our videos, so please do get involved, and it will be amazing to hear from you. Right, well, it just leaves me to say a very big thank you for my colleague outside. I'm sure you'd like to give Adi some thumbs up and some hearts and some emojis of your own, because he's the guy that presses all the buttons and puts the broadcast together. So thank you very much, buddy. Just leaves me to say a very, very big thank you for watching. And of course, we can't wait to see you next time. Be safe, be kind to everyone, and stay well and healthy. And we look forward to seeing you next time. But from myself and Adi for one session, that's it. And it's a very good day from Suarez HQ. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye for now.